Welcome to the Choosing Happiness podcast with me, your host, Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady.
Howdy, y'all. Rudrani Devi, the Happiness Lady. That's right. I even wrote a book about it. Choosing Happiness. An uncommon way to find joy in your life. That's right. It's got some amazing tools in there. Just saying, they're all tools of access consciousness. I'm not going to claim credit, but I did write it in a manner that is very easy to read and very easy to choose. So why don't you? That's all I got to say about that. And super excited about my next guest. So gracious to actually jump on the podcast with me. Literally asked her yesterday. I've not even known this lady a week yet. She came to a class I was facilitating in Paducah, Kentucky. That's right, y'all. Shannon Jacobs. She is an animal communicator and psychic medium, y'all. Very interesting, beautiful young lady from Australia's. I love it. If I didn't live here, I'd probably live in Australia or Italy. Well, I'm Italian. That could either way. But without further ado, Shannon, thank you so much for being a guest on my show. And please tell the peeps a little bit about you, what you do, all the things.
Sure. Hi. Thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful meeting you on Saturday. Or Sunday, wasn't it? Yeah.
Sunday.
It was such a beautiful experience for me. You clearly you provided clarity for me, and just your soul is just beautiful, and I really enjoyed being in your presence and learning from you. It was great.
Thank you so much.
Basically, I talk to animals, and I also can conversate with people who have passed over. And I have some other skills I'm kind of honing in on as well. But right now, I do a lot of animal readings and psychic readings for people living and past.
So how did you get started with all that? We all have our stories,
Right. So I was, as a child, I was always able to hear and understand what animals are doing and thinking. And I grew up in Australia, and I grew up in a very rural part of Australia in Darwin, which is in the Northern Territory. And we had a lot of, I was exposed to a lot of Aboriginal tribes there, and we learned a lot from them about how to read the animals and their signs and what they mean, and how you can tell the weather and what's going on. It was so interesting, and I loved that. But I was also raised in a Roman Catholic family, and their beliefs are a certain way. So, right. I know we kind of had that in common, didn't we? And
we sure do.
Yes, girl. So anyway, when I would say things, and my family would say, well, that's just your imagination. Oh, that's not real. And things like that. So I kind of pushed it aside a lot. And then when COVID hit, my health got really bad, and I couldn't physically do my job anymore. And I kind of was in limbo a little bit, and I heard voices, and I wasn't sure if I was crazy or what was going on.
She's like, I'm really sick because now I'm hearing voices, y'all.
Yeah, girl, I thought, this is it. They're going to send me away. I'm done. So, yep. So, a blessing in disguise. I had a massage therapist friend. I was getting massage, and she was telling me about this lady out in Gilbertsville, Kentucky, and she has a space out there, and she said, you need to go talk to her. So I did, and I started telling her some things, and all of a sudden she was like, well, you're a medium, you're animal psychic kind of thing. And I took some classes at her space, and I actually started doing tea leaf readings.
Wow.
And I was having such good results from the tea leaf readings, and she kind of pushed me into doing other things. But it was kind of like coming out of the closet, it really is a closet that we have, some of us psychics, because our family and friends, our careers, we can't really say what we're really doing, sometimes we feel that way anyway.
Sure.
But anyway, my the first time I did an event, I had it on Facebook, and my dad was a criminal justice university teacher, and needless to say, he was like, oh my God, what is she doing?
My daughter's embarrassing the family.
Yes.
Who does she think she is?
Right. But he is so supportive now, but at the moment he was like, what are you doing? And I thought the same thing. And so I didn't always trust in myself,
Right.
and something I got from your class about the elementals was just thinking of a different way, about things. And I
Well, we're
think,
taught, aren't we taught though, seriously, Shannon, there's a structure and so you've got to follow it and that's the
yes,
only way. And we never ask, hey, is this true for me? Or is something else possible? Or is there something else
right,
more to this than I'm
yes,
even aware of?
yes,
I'm always asking that question, so what is it that I'm not even aware of that's
yeah,
out there waiting for me
right,
that I've not yet discovered? you know,
yes,
that
yes,
piece. But we never think to ask because we are inundated with belief systems. I'm not going
yeah,
to knock Catholicism. I
of
have a
course,
sister
no,
who's Mormon,
yeah,
and her children didn't understand how Jesus could be in their religion and in Catholicism.
yeah,
It was so funny. I
yeah,
remember I was visiting once and they took us to this museum in McGrath, Alberta, Canada.
wow,
And
wow,
it was the history of religion. And it was kind of rudimentary, put together by just bits and pieces that people had, right?
uh-huh,
I mean, I
right,
actually donated an army uniform that belonged to my great aunt's husband. It had his
uh,
name on it and everything. And I thought, that'd be
wow,
kind of a cool thing to give to them to put
yeah,
in whatever. And so they had Catholicism. They of course had Mormon was the first one. It was like the biggest display, but they had all these different religions. And I
mhm,
met there for the first time with some of her children's children. Great
mm,
aunt situation moment. Oh no,
yeah,
no, wait, I think it was actually her. Was it? Yeah, it was her children. I'm just trying to remember exactly when it was.
uh-huh,
Someone who has 6 kids now, and at the time they had 2. They're very
yep,
similar to Catholics. They have a lot of children.
yeah,
And she was
yes,
going, "Well, how's Jesus a Mormon and a Catholic?"
mm,
And I found that very interesting. And that's the
yes,
thing, we don't think because,
right, we just
if you
accept
were
it,
raised Catholic, you're gonna just imagine that Jesus is just for you.
yes,
But then
yeah,
you realize, "Oh gosh, Jesus is actually in this religion also, and in this one, and
right,
in this one.
right,
How's that possible?" We don't think to
right,
ask. And that's what
right,
came up in the elementals class. It was
yes,
basically you were used to seeing the elementals a certain way, and then we did
yes,
this expanding out exercise, and all of a sudden you were seeing the elementals in another way, and you thought, "Oh, is that the way they actually are?" And I'm like, "Couldn't they be both?"
right. That was so freeing for me, such clarity in that, and that's such a good analogy too between the two religions.
Yeah.
I do still believe in Jesus. I don't call myself a Christian per se. Yeah, right. I think that's something else we figured we had in,
Yeah.
in common too.
Mhm.
And I think I had talked about a little bit about a reading I'd done one time. I was kind of nervous, really nervous to give what came through. And it was for a young girl in Utah, and I was reading her horse, and her father came through,
Oh,
and
wow.
they were very more, they were very religious, and his message was that to just kind of lighten up with the religion a little bit. I think they were very devout. And it was
Sure.
hard for me to tell somebody who's very religious that,
Sure.
but it
Sure.
had to come through, and that's something one of the biggest things I've had to learn is how do you give a message that comes through that might be a little bit hard for somebody to take. And
Mm.
so that's when I kind of rely on my heart and kind of sense what this person can handle and what they need to know, and that's kind of what I do.
Well, if it shows up, like for me, for example, when I'm doing a reading, I
Mhm.
actually used to do this. I don't do it anymore, but I have this pendulum, right? And
Okay.
it just
Yeah.
it just spins to the right. I pick it up
Yeah.
and it just automatically starts spinning to the right. And
Awesome.
and for a lot of people, if your pendulum spins to the right, it means yes. And if your pendulum spins to the left, it means no. So I
Mhm.
would, with my eyes closed, do a reading for someone a lot of times now on Zoom, so they have the recording. But I used to record it on my phone and then
Okay.
send it. And if it was something that I could tell, I mean, I would leave it spinning the whole time. But if it was something where I had to rephrase what I was saying, it would suddenly drop and just do
Ah,
this little number here, which I could feel.
wow.
So I'd be like,
Yes.
okay. And if it was something I definitely did not need to be telling them, it would automatically start spinning to the left, which is no.
Huh.
So that
Yes.
was one way. But now I don't actually require this to know what
Uh-huh.
yes and no and all that is. I would like suddenly feel like, shut your pie hole. Okay,
Yes.
you're okay. Can they actually receive this? Is it a
Yes.
kindness for me to share this? Maybe
Yes.
just for me, just for fun, and I
Yes.
don't have to tell them I don't need to shock people. I don't need
Right. Right.
make people uncomfortable. So,
Right.
what do I know? What can they receive? But usually if it's coming through, like I know you were nervous, you were like, do I
Yes.
tell this person this?
Yes.
If it's coming through more than, especially from a loved one, they can probably receive it. How
It's
did she receive
exactly.
that?
She was blown away. She said, "Shannon, oh my gosh." She said, "We needed to hear these things." And
Wow.
that's when that was my absolute, okay, this is my validation right there, that I am always gonna approach things in this way
Right.
and say the hard things, if so long as I'm led to,
Right.
and
Right. I get it.
yeah, it's the one of the biggest things that people come to me for is their grief regarding their animals. A lot of people have regret. Did I do the right thing? Should I have, done this with the vet? Or, I wasn't there in time. I wasn't with you. And the number one thing they all say is it happened exactly how it was supposed to. And
Yeah.
it's as hard as that is to hear sometimes. It gives relief because it's
Yeah.
the truth.
I
We
know what you're saying. For those of you that know me and follow me, I just lost recently. It hasn't been very long, a little over 2 weeks now. My beloved Pepita puss,
mm,
little orange kitty cat. I pulled her out of her mama, by the way.
wow.
Um, yeah. I mean, I'm looking at a picture right now. She's the one crying. She was the loudest, meanest, stinky cat, but this I didn't even want to keep her, to be
Yeah.
honest. I wanted to keep one of the kittens. I'd already fallen in love with two, and I was having a hard time deciding between a boy kitty and a girl kitty that I
Uh,
really just loved, that loved me so much, would crawl up my jeans leg and crawl all the way up here. And then there's
yeah.
Pepita just hissing at me all the time. And I'm like, why would I want to keep this cat? And it was my ex that was like, we're keeping her. We're keeping her. So, I mean, literally, after, he left me, I was in a wheelchair at the time. And this is a cat I could not touch. And yet
Mhm,
this is how it started. She wasn't even
mhm,
a year old, and she would jump up in my lap while I was
mm,
in the wheelchair. I'd be like, I watched a lot of documentaries, and,
mhm.
I couldn't touch her. If I tried to touch her, she would jump
That was
down.
it.
But
Yeah,
eventually we got this rapport, and I realized that I was very psychic with this cat. I
awesome.
would show her an image of the door, and she would know that means, "Do you wanna go outside?" And so she would run to the door, very
Uh-huh.
vocal, this cat, and I would open
Yes.
the door and she would go, and then she would wanna come in, and I could be in a completely different part of the house, but she
Mhm.
would be telling me, "I'm at the door. I'm ready to come in."
Yeah.
And I would go, and there she'd be, like, "Yeah, we've got this thing going on." Or, "Are you hungry?" Or, "Do you want this?" Or whatever. This cat loved
Yes.
pasta, okay?
Yeah.
I I would clean off the
Italian
sauce.
cat.
She did, yes. Well, with a
Yeah.
Spanish name, which is so funny.
Right, right.
So I would clean it off, and then I would hold it, and she'd and eat this whole little, I mean, for 17 and a half years, it's like, I mean, I've never slept with anybody for that many
Right,
years. My marriage didn't
right.
last that long. I have relationships that I've had for very long periods of time, but I have never spent that much time. So I would
This is
always joke that Pepita was my significant furry other,
yes,
and would get me through things. I
yes,
mean, if I
yes,
was really sad about something, she would come and comfort me, all the
yes,
stuff. And to be honest, Shannon, I did not expect this at all. I mean, I would always
yeah,
joke about how virile she was and she could catch a squirrel. This cat
yeah.
at 17 and a half when she passed, could catch a
Mm,
squirrel. Her birthday's September 1st, mine's October 1st. So,
wow.
Virgo and Libra.
Uh-huh,
I'm a,
Libra.
I'm a I'm a Virgo rising, Libra sun. And
Interesting.
yeah, and she's, so anyway, I digress. I brought her in for a regular checkup in December. They did the blood work and they found that she had a UTI, which I was
Mm,
like, I didn't know cats could get those. I've never had one. And then shortly after she had healed from that, my mother got one. And I thought, oh,
interesting.
Pepita, you do not need to be healing my mom. You know, you getting it does not, number one, heal her of it. And two,
Right,
it's not a good idea for your body, kitty cat. So,
right, right.
and then I brought her afterwards for a follow-up, and they wanted to do more blood work, and we found out that she had a blood sugar issue. I'm going, "Okay, I
Mhm.
have a blood sugar. I've got low blood sugar." I'm like, "If you're trying to heal me, you need to stop this right now." So I'm having
Yes.
these conversations with her. So we get the little dermal ear thing for her, and then we go back for the follow-up, and the follow-up is mainly me going, my cat's losing weight like
Mm.
rapidly. And I
Mhm.
travel a lot, so I really noticed it.
Yeah.
And she had lost 4 pounds
Wow.
since December, and
Wow.
now it's, March or the end of
Yeah.
March. And they said, "Well, maybe we need to do blood work again." But then they felt her belly and said, "We think there might be a mass." So
Mm.
we scheduled, the ultrasound, and 80% of her stomach was eaten up with cancer.
I'm so sorry.
So,
Yeah.
yeah, and we did all kinds of things, "Hey, do you wanna heal from this? Are you ready to
Mhm.
go? Blah, blah, blah." She started feeling better. She was at the point where
Mm.
she could jump up on the couch again, and she was making eye contact with me, and
Mhm.
it was like she wanted to heal.
Yes.
And then after a couple of weeks of that, and I had these beautiful moments with her, she just rapidly went downhill, and when she didn't eat for 2 days, and I was sleeping on the floor with her by this time, Shannon. I had a couple of
Yeah.
cushions, and depending on which cat bed she decided to sleep in, we would do it.
Mhm.
And the last I knew, the jig was up because she decided in the middle of my mother and I having dinner and watching TV, which is our time together,
Mhm.
she went into the bedroom and didn't come back out. And I went, "That's interesting. She usually likes to be in the same room with us." And I'd check on her, and she would drink water, but she wouldn't eat. And she went from a can and a half of wet food a day plus some dry
Mhm.
food and treats
Mhm.
to not even a whole can, like, not even a half
Mm.
a can over
Yeah.
3 days, and then didn't eat for 2 days. So
Yeah.
that last night, she would come and she'd come over to the mattress, put her head on my hand, and I knew she was uncomfortable and in pain because she wouldn't be there very long, then she would go back to the bed, and I'd pet her, I'd give her more water. That last
Mm.
night, we were up all night. She'd come and lay next to me for a little bit, put her head over here on my shoulder, and then back into the bed,
Yeah.
and talk to me,
Yes.
like, a lot. And I
She's
was
probably
like
telling you goodbye. Yes.
"Honey, I get it. We'll go tomorrow. I have to be on a couple of calls, and then I'll take you."
Yeah.
Ah, so painful.
Oh,
And I
no.
remember carrying her into my mom's bedroom for her to say goodbye. And my mom was like, "Oh, we love you, Pepita," and she's kissing her, and my cat's, just barely making a noise, but still talking.
Yeah.
And my mother's cat was just on the bed, just looking like, "What's going on over here? Don't know what's going on."
Mhm. Mhm.
Because they were not friends. They did not
Yeah.
enjoy each other's company. They're both 17-ish. We know her birthday, we don't know his because he was adopted
Okay.
stray cat, someone left. And then I remember, I put her down. I looked at the time, and it was 10:20, and
Mm.
I come home without her, and after making the Facebook post and, bawling my eyes out, and I have
Mm.
to be on a call in, like, 15 minutes, and I walk into my mom's room, and she starts crying, "What did you do with Pepita?" And I'm like, "Well, mother, I told you. We decided it was time, and
Mhm.
I'm gonna have her cremated just like her mom and her brother and her
Yeah.
sister from before, but
Yeah.
and not real. The mother was her pet, but the other 2 were cats before her."
Right.
And I said, "And I have to be on this call," and then my mother says, "I know exactly when she died," and she tells me that my cat said goodbye to her, and it was 10:20, and then she just sobbed, and I'm trying to comfort her and keep it together, and it was so hard because I
I
had to be on a
bet.
sales call. Yeah. I have a
Oh,
few
no.
jobs, and,
Yeah.
um, and that night and the next night, I felt her sleeping with me, but then I
Mhm.
thought she had left me, and
Mm.
I think I mentioned this in the class where I
Yeah.
was in my hot tub, and suddenly there she was, and she was a
Mhm.
he. She told me I
Yeah.
could still call her Pepita, but she was now going to be my guide, and she said, "I can do you so much more good from here than I
Yes.
could from what we were doing. I'm
Yes.
sorry." But then the communication sort of fell away. I mean, I
Mm.
perceive her, and I'll
Yeah.
talk to her, and I can get, like, a yes and a no, but
Mhm.
not as clear as a bell as it was when she
Mhm.
was in the hot tub. So, I mean, we do have to take a station identification break, and I know I've been talking a lot, but I kinda wanted to give you a kind of a heads up of where we're going, but I would love if maybe after our station identification break, you could maybe have a conversation with her. Would you be willing to
Absolutely. Yeah, she's with
do
you
that?
now. I've been wanting to
Mama?
tell you she's with you now,
Oh, I
and
know,
she
I
does
feel her
have
over
things
here.
to say.
Oh, awesome. So you
Yeah.
guys, I have to pay the bills. So I've got my sponsor, Mandu, which is not a hair salon for men, by the way. I call it the electrocution workout. They do not like it that I call it that, but it's basically a bunch of TENS units hooked to your body, and they trigger different muscle parts, that you normally would never be able to work out. It's a 15-minute workout that it's like doing a 2.5-hour workout. I wish it had been around when I was in a wheelchair because I might have been walking sooner. But just this little 1-minute commercial for y'all, and then we'll be right back.
Can Do is a boutique fitness studio concept, and we are actually the first FDA cleared EMS training workout. And what we do essentially is that we will have a client come in, we will hook them up to a whole body EMS suit, and then we perform a workout on a medical grade device called an eFit device. And that device will send an electrical current to their body through electrodes in these suits that we put on them. And this electrical current is just basically stimulating the electrical current that you already have inside your body. So everybody is made up of electrical impulses. It's what helps you walk, helps you move. We're tapping into that and making it stimulate it more to where we can cause a muscle to actually contract involuntarily. So we can actually create resistance without adding a load to the body. So that is why we, as you see online, it always says ultra low impact. It is scientifically proven. It is absolutely ultra low impact.
And we're back. I'm super excited. Yes, Miss Shannon now is going to talk to my kitty cat. I know y'all were like dying. You're like, get over with this commercial. We want to know what Pepita has to say. And I do know she was very excited about you being on the podcast. She was like, you got to get her on the podcast. So we're thrilled to have you here.
Thank you.
To show us a little bit about what you do.
Yeah. So basically what I do before I connect in, basically how I connect in is I ground myself, I offer gratitude to everything and everyone. And then I just kind of, I don't know how to explain it, but I just move into a higher vibration and just kind of let the menial things of life let me go. And I kind of sit up in this space. And I've actually done a couple of readings today already. So I'm really well connected in. And as you were speaking, Pepita, is Pepita, right? I don't know if I'm saying her name right.
Pepita means little seed, but she was
Pepita,
anything but.
right.
She was a very fat cat for a long time. Sorry, Pepe, I'm telling on you. But then, during COVID, she actually slimmed down. So I don't know. The anxiety, feeling the anxiety of the world, I'm sure.
Right.
So,
right.
Yeah. So then she looked like a normal cat after that.
Yeah. She entered the room when you started talking about her. And she often sits behind what I noticed even in the class, that she sits behind your right shoulder. And what I saw is that she has been with you for many lifetimes. Yeah. And especially in Egypt, like I saw her as like not Anubis, but maybe as one of the Egyptian pharaoh dogs, so a dog, but she was male in that life. And so right now I'm asking her what she wants you to know. And she just wants to thank you so much for everything you did for her. She said, and she's showing me like you made her the queen. Like she was, she had everything she wanted. She never wanted for anything. And she is spending some special attention with your mom, like around your mom. Like I think when you weren't there, mom was there, and they have a bond too. And I know you just mentioned in the story that she said goodbye to her, but there's something that your mom used to do for this cat. I don't know.
Spoiler rotten.
Yeah, there was something that she did with this cat and you didn't. And this is a very special time for her. And she wants to thank her for that. And she has much love. They often make me feel the love they have. Yeah. And it's such a beautiful thing to witness that between an owner and an animal. And she wants to show. She keeps showing. This is what I kept saying. I didn't understand it, so I'm just going to ask you: Did she have like a fur coat, like her own fur jacket, or something that's not her coat? It's white. There's a fur coat or fur ball. Maybe it's a. I'm not sure, but she keep like a feather boa, even maybe.
Well, it's interesting because I never put her in anything because my ex used to do that, and she hated it because I had like. Dolls with sweaters, and he would take them off the dolls and put them on her when she was a kid.
Maybe she's mentioned that. Maybe that's what she's mentioning. Maybe because I see like a
totally hated it. And so But she did get haircuts because she's a long-haired cat, and it
Okay.
would start matting because it was
Yeah.
just too much to handle, or she'd get in some thicket, where you'd get the little
Yeah.
burrs. And she
Yes.
didn't like me brushing her, so I brought her to Paula,
Okay.
which she groomed dogs, but she would groom
Okay.
Pepita, and she gave her a line cut. So Pepita got a line cut twice a
wow.
year, and then when she started to get sick and she couldn't groom herself, I brought her, and Paula actually trimmed out underneath her neck and under her paws.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not sure why she's not able to clean her. This is before I noticed that she was really sick.
Sure.
And so,
Sure.
but she
Maybe
always,
that's it.
she got baths, she got her own line cut. I
Okay.
did call her the princess or the queen.
Okay.
Celeste
Because I
is the
see her
queen.
with this
That's my
like
mom.
fluffy. Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, she has this
Yeah.
line cut. So
Okay.
she would
That
have
must
all
be
the
what
fur
it is. I
here,
thought it was a
and then
shirt.
little
Okay.
boots, and then the very
Okay.
end of her
Yes.
tail. But the rest of her would be
Okay.
a short-haired cat. Yeah, I've got
Yeah.
beautiful pictures of her as a little lion, little
Oh,
orange
that's
lion.
awesome.
So yeah.
Right. So sometimes too, what happens for me is when they show me something that I haven't seen before, I have to kind of make up what it is that
Yeah.
what I see. So and like for example, for this example, it looked like a feather boa, or she was wearing a jacket that had fluffy around her neck. But
Yeah,
I'm pretty
that's her
sure that's what
haircut.
it is.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So she's agreeing. So anyway, I'm gonna keep asking her what she might want you to know. She's referencing your desk. Was that her, like, would she sit on the desk with you and work with you? Or would she, like, was there a space nearby you? Like there's a work area that she
Yeah.
would constantly come in?
Yeah, she was not allowed in this room because I have clients that are allergic to cats.
Yep.
So she was never allowed in here or the sunroom where I teach my classes. But
Okay.
what I would do most of the time is when I was done with my day, I would grab my computer and bring it into the TV room or the shared space with my mother. And I
Okay.
would, on the couch, she would come. And a lot of
She
times
loves
she would
it.
want me to stop typing
Yes.
because she would try to get in
Yes.
my lap. And so I would close my computer and she'd come sit on me
Uh-huh.
for a little bit. I'd pet her for a while. And then when she'd had enough, she would get up, and then it was okay for me to play with the computer.
Yes.
But if
She's
you want to call it an office space, it was basically a dining room, or not a dining room, but like a whatever. What do you call those
a
things
living
anymore?
room kind of thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
living room with the table,
Desk and stuff. Yeah. Yeah.
and I never sat at the table and ate with my mom. I always ate there because she would come and be with me, and that was my time with my cat.
Okay.
Because when I was in here,
She
she wasn't allowed to
loves
be with
it.
me. Yeah,
She loved those moments. She
yeah.
wants you to remember those moments, and she feels like
She's
maybe those moments are very hard for you because it's like you're
yes,
expecting her to come, and she says, I'm still there, I'm just on the other side. She said, but she's worried because it was like a routine for you, and it's kind of messed up your routine, and it's kind of messed up a lot of things in that creative sense,
yeah.
a little bit in that
It
sense.
hurts. It hurts.
Yes. And she says, please find your way back. She says, find another way she says, you need to find somebody else who's going to do what I did, do those things for you. I don't know if you're
Oh,
open
well,
to
I
getting
can't.
another cat.
I don't think I can do it. I don't think I can do it. I want her back, and
Yeah.
she's made it very clear that she has to stay where she is to help
Yes.
me from where she's at. But
Yes.
I don't think my heart can take it.
Yeah. And that's okay. But she wants you to know, this is what she said to me. Who's going to do this for her now? She needs this. So this is kind of like your little break from in between,
Yeah.
So she just wants you to know that when you think in that space that she will be there, so
Well,
maybe,
unless she brings a cat to me, that's the only way I would
do
do
you want
it.
me to ask her that? Like, is she going to bring you? Do you want
Is it
you have a question to ask her? I can ask her anything if you
sure? I
want.
mean, if she knows of a cat that I could have that same connection with,
And she says, you
I'd be
won't
okay.
have that same connection with another cat like that.
I know, that's the thing. I can't get hurt like this again because, when her mother died, her mother was very sick, and I was very sure because she
Yep.
couldn't even stand upright anymore. And then when her adopted brother, Figaro, I mean, he literally was dragging his legs behind him. He was fine, and then, but he'd been sick for a long time, and he finally, I knew with her, it was very difficult because she was still very clear. She was looking
Yes.
me right in the eyes. She wasn't
Yes.
fading here.
Yes.
So, I mean,
That's because of
I
your connection. The connection you guys had was on a deep soul level. And I have that with my own dog right now. She's 13. And then every so often I get really sad because I feel like I'm
Yeah.
going to come home and find her one day. But she is so sprightly, so
Yeah.
she's more active than my 2-year-old dog, So I think it was her way of letting you down easy, if that makes sense, for you to hand. And I'm sure it wasn't easy, but she's
No.
making me feel like she couldn't. She had it was the connection you had was so strong that she couldn't just fade away. And
Right.
she had to do it in the way, the coming back and the hugging, that was her way of, I'm leaving soon,
Yeah.
that she
Yeah.
kept coming back to you. But
All
she
night
says you
long.
do what?
The whole night. I don't think I
Yeah.
slept more than like 10 or 15 minutes at a time, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm
Yeah.
so sorry. Yes. But she
Yeah.
wants you to know, because I'm asking her, is there going to be another animal in your life that can help you? And she says there will be, but it might be a dog. I don't know if you're a dog person, but I see a very
Well,
small dog.
I told my
Very,
mom that if after her cat's gone, because I couldn't possibly introduce a dog with a cat that's already
yes.
in the house, that I could go for one of those little hyperallergenic dogs. Could
Okay,
definitely
well,
go
that's kind of
there.
what I see. I saw like a little poodle or a little small chihuahua or something
Yeah.
that's small,
Something
small
that's
fur. Yeah.
something that's very soft and very small and something that would
Yes.
force me to go walk every day outside.
Yes. And that's what
You know?
she's saying on the other side. You need that. You need
Yeah.
that little bit of a pull, a disconnect sometimes. And she did that for you. And
Yeah.
so, and it will come again. But for now, just give yourself the grace and feel the love, because isn't that what grief is, right? It's the
Yeah.
love that we haven't spent yet. It's all the love we had to give and we can't give it anymore.
Right. I
So
didn't know it was gonna be this hard. It was like literally I work out online every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 10 till 11, and this morning there was somebody that had their orange striped cat, and they
no,
were doing dips, and the cat kept coming, jumping in her lap, and it was so funny because I'm like, "Okay, so how much more weight is the cat adding to the thing?"
right.
And she's, like, lifting the cat off, and the cat's looking up at her like, "How could you take me off of you?" With that loving look, and I during the workout, I just was crying through the workout, because
Yes.
I wanna see Pepita looking at me that way again.
I know.
And she doesn't wanna come back again. Maybe she could come back as this dog, I don't know. But, is that something she would be open to, I
Well,
don't
I can
know.
ask her that. Usually
Sure.
it's already yeah, I'm sorry. It's usually it's already decided is what I've found out, because
Right.
there are I've had a lot of people, especially around the horse in the horse community.
Yeah.
The connections are so very, very deep. I mean, they're
Oh,
deep
I
with
know.
horses and cats, but with dogs and cats, but it's so different with horses.
Horses, I mean, I get it. I almost bought a horse over COVID, but I knew I wouldn't be able to spend as much time as I would need
Yes.
to,
Yeah.
because all the stables here, you have to drive at least 40 minutes to get to one.
Right.
And
Right.
I would want to be able to have that horse in my backyard, you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, every day.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I did wanna take him away. His name is Hollywood. I didn't want him to take him
Oh,
away from his horse friends, and we were like
yeah.
this, man. This horse would every time I go to this stable, he runs up to me, so I was like, "Okay,
Yes.
I can't
Oh,
do it. Love him
right.
too much to
Right.
do that." So,
Yeah.
anyway, wow.
Well, sometimes, basically, I'll ask. A lot of times, they will come back as other animals or other horses. But I can. Pepita is very. I asked again. She's not going to come back in this
I
lifetime.
know, I
And this
know.
is something. This is a lesson you're going to have to learn. There's a lesson here too for you. And maybe it's a belief. There's something that you had decided a long time ago that that maybe isn't the best for you right now. Maybe she's helping you transmute it by bringing attention to it. You
Yeah.
know.
Well, and she said that she told me, you can verify this with her, this was the first day in the hot tub because I wouldn't leave I was like, but she was
Yes.
basically saying that 2025 was a year that I was very much needed in this reality, and that she
Yes.
could help me a lot more from there than she
Yes.
could from here,
Yes.
and the communication piece, I mean, I'm not really hearing her anymore. It's more of an
Right.
energy speak.
Mhm.
So, I guess that's where we're at this point. Because at first I was
She'll come
hearing
back.
words.
Yes, I think it's for you to get through your grief. You can't hear anything right now, as
Oh,
much
yeah,
as clearly, maybe, because
yeah,
grief is so incredibly heavy,
yeah.
you know, and you're just gonna
She's
have to walk,
agreeing.
yeah, walk through it, and yeah, it just is what it is, unfortunately. Um, but I see the light at the end of the tunnel. Like, she's showing me all this stuff for you coming up.
Right.
Um, yes, and I think you've had, like, especially there's some things that you've been she said she really wants me to say this, so I'm just going to say it. But there's some things you've been worried about that maybe haven't haven't taken off or haven't um, come to fruition yet.
Yeah.
And she said they will. She said keep doing your ideas. Keep your ideas unique to you. Like there's something you're coming up with to do. She says it's going to happen, but there's she makes me
Well,
feel like
there's a
yeah,
documentary that it got
okay,
postponed, and I said
okay.
that the time wasn't right. That maybe, look, he wants to contribute.
Yeah,
Hello.
that's my answer. I'm so sorry.
Oh, it's okay. He's contributing because he can probably feel her as well. But it's like,
Yes.
you're gonna laugh at me, but Olivia Newton-John comes and talks to me every morning in my hot tub, and she keeps plugging away and going, "Don't give up on do not
Right.
give up on the documentary. It is gonna happen." Because I'm like,
It is gonna happen.
where did all the people go that were supporting it? But I
Right.
get now that the time wasn't right for it.
Yeah.
And then
Yes.
my singing career, I know I put it in
Okay.
quotes, that's
Yep.
actually starting to take off again, which is so
Okay. So
interesting
go
because
with it.
I was doing more of that before COVID. And then when COVID happened and I couldn't travel, I was supposed to drop an album in March of 2020. We all know what happened. Kept getting
Wow.
postponed, kept getting postponed. And then now it's like I've been going to different clubs and stuff, and people are like, "Aren't you the lead singer of the Paper Dolls?" Which I haven't done since the 80s. So now I'm dating
I
myself.
love that.
But
Yeah.
now being asked to participate in other people's projects, and
Mhm.
I've pulled together a band that I love
Excellent.
these guys, and I'm looking
Excellent.
forward to doing that. So I don't know. That appears to be happening again.
Yes.
She's can see it, I'm
She's
sure.
pushing you. She's very much like red, green flags, go, go, go. And she's
Yeah,
helping you with that. And
yeah,
all the little awkwardness of that, she's walking there with that, walking
yeah,
with you in that. But she definitely wants you to not give up because I feel like she feels like you're at a turning point with one of these projects. And it's like
Well,
you're just
I
ready to
feel
do
like
this. Don't do
I
that. She says, don't give up.
yeah, I've basically, everything that was working before isn't, and so I feel
Yeah.
like I'm in school constantly because I'm learning. I've got like 5 part-time jobs. Unfortunately for me,
Yeah.
I still have clients that come and
Yeah.
pay me to work on their bodies because
Awesome.
that's the one thing that's keeping me knowing that I'm doing what I should be doing, and
Yes.
yet I've never experienced this kind of slowdown where people aren't choosing classes, whereas I used to have these huge classes with like 80 people in them,
Yes.
and now it's like, I don't know. We saw our class, 5 people.
Yeah, right, and that's okay though. It's part of the evolution.
Yeah.
What she's saying is don't give up on it and don't she's saying I feel like because she's all about telling you what to do, okay?
Oh, I know she's very bossy, but she's always been that
Yes,
way.
like no, she's
Even
telling me like, no, no, you need to tell her this, and I'm
right,
like,
right,
all
right.
right,
She's if you could hear her when she had a body, it was like, "Meow, meow," and everybody
Yeah,
always thought the cat was pissed. I said, "No, she's just very adamant about what she's saying."
yes,
It's like they'll be like, "Hey, Pepita," meow, meow, meow. And it
yes,
sounds like she's going, "Fuck you." But she's not saying
right,
"fuck you." She's like, "I'm right here. Thanks for noticing
right.
me." Yeah,
But she wants you to like almost step out of your old way of thinking and doing things and just kind of roll with what's coming that's new because it's like
yeah,
it's you already know but it's you're like man I've already done that or that's not going to work or it didn't work last time or whatever. She's just saying be open to that because
yeah,
things are coming that are just wonderful but it's going to be
yeah,
different is what she wants you to
yeah.
know.
It's so funny, Shannon, because I took a very part-time job. I work 1 day a week at Kay's Jewelers.
Okay,
Did it
yeah,
to get out of my house, and because I
yes,
love jewelry and
yeah,
rocks and stones and beautiful things talk to me,
yep,
I can make more in a 5-minute reading than I can make in 1 day at
of
Kay's.
being there, yes, yeah.
But I was but it was so light for me to do it, and I felt like
Yes.
it was her telling me, "You need to go do this," you
Yes.
know? And I
Yes.
don't know if it's, the matter of I like people, and more than
Okay.
buying jewelry for myself, I love helping other people find the pieces that mean something to them, and I
Yes.
don't know what it's gonna bring me. I mean, the
Right.
commission rate is so low. The people there are
Right.
like, "Why are you working here?" And I'm like, "I don't know, because the
Right. I
pay is
feel like
so below what I'm used to doing." So she knows something I don't, that
yes.
somehow meeting people, or I will
Yes.
meet someone, or
Yes.
some people that will either help me with my music, or maybe
Yes,
it's a
ma'am.
lover. Who knows
Yes.
what it is?
Yes, she does.
But
And she's like, yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
So
there's
yes, stay
something
with
going
them
on.
on. Yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm
So
gonna ask her what else she might want you to know, unless you have another question you want me to ask
no,
her.
I mean, I know she's not coming back, not even as a
Okay.
dog. But if I
Yeah.
am going to adopt a dog, I want her to choose it for me.
Okay.
Could she do
She said
that?
she already has.
Oh boy. Don't make it right away, girl. I can't
No, I
handle it.
see what because I just asked that too. It's like when, and within the next 2 years. So within the next
Oh,
2 years, something will come along. You'll be in a different space, place, maybe not physically, but
yeah.
you'll be much more open and ready. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Here at least. Sure. Sure.
yes.
Okay.
So
I'm
I'm gonna
open to
ask
that.
her what
Thanks.
else. Yeah, what else she wants you
Thank
to
you.
know.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yeah. I'm not sure. She just wants to thank you again. I don't know if you did something special with her burial or where her ashes are. Do you have her ashes?
I
But
had her
she was
ashes, but right now they're in the corner of the bedroom where she used to sleep. Which when
okay.
she couldn't jump on the bed anymore,
Uh-huh.
that's her little bed. That the minute I got home, I actually put everything in storage in my shed because I just couldn't look at it.
Yeah.
And so, every now I look at that space now, and the bed's not there, and that hurts even more. But
Yeah.
I have her ashes there. I have a paw print. They were supposed to give me
Mhm.
some hair and they forgot. So I'm upset about that because I don't have any
Okay.
fur of hers. But
Well, she was mentioning hair. She kept showing me hair. And this is so funny because she has a funny a funny personality too. She said just scrape it off the carpet. Like there's enough of me in that house, is what she said.
it's already been
Okay.
vacuumed. The cleaning
All
lady's
right.
already
What
come.
she
I had thought I was gonna get hair with the thing, so the house got
sure.
cleaned before we could.
Okay.
I found one hair on a blanket when I was teaching a class because I had massage tables in the sunroom, and I
Uh-huh.
just took that hair and I was like putting it on my face, and then now I have
Uh-huh.
it inside a little box. It's just one
Yeah.
hair in the
Okay.
box by my bed, and that's really it. I
Okay.
don't know where else to look because
Okay. Well, what she
everything
wants you
got.
to know is that you don't need my hair. She said, you've had me my whole life. She said, and now it's time for you to walk without me. That's what you need to learn. And you can talk to me anytime, but just, you've got to learn to let this go. She said, I'll always be with you and you can put me wherever you need me to. Like, I feel like you want somewhere else to put her with her ashes or something.
Well,
She
I'm
said
gonna put
she's
her in the
open to
altar. I'm gonna put her in
do
the
what?
altar. I'm gonna put
Oh,
her in the
okay.
altar with her mom and her brother and her sister. I there is a way to take the ashes and actually make it into jewelry, but I don't know if I can actually do
Do
that.
it. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, would she want me to do that, or
She
that's
said
kind of
it's your thing. She said whatever
uh,
makes you feel better. She said
well,
because she loves you completely. Like she again is wrapping you in love and just I don't know if something happened recently where you felt it was her like you in the bathroom coming out or like you just knew that was her for a second. Like it felt like she
yeah,
was
I thought I
there.
saw her the other day. I walked into the
Yes.
bedroom and I thought I saw her on the bed where she used to sit. She used to sit on the pillows on the back of the bed, and,
Yeah.
yeah, and then I had to do a double take, and then she wasn't there, so but I will say this, Pepita, you tore up my bed sheets so much that now I have flipped the comforter, and it looks like a brand new set because can't see all those little claw marks anymore where you
Uh-huh.
clawed the crap out of my bed, so it's gonna be
She said
okay.
she loves you and again thanks you so much for everything. And she's also showing me uh, like a movie prop or something that looks like a bird. Maybe it's a fake bird. Do you have it was like on her head. I don't know if there's a photograph of her with a bird or if there's she wants to mention it
Is
looks
she
like a
talking
fake
about Well, I don't know. I mean, I do love birds a lot, so I have feeders, and I planted plants that are conducive for birds, butterflies, and bees. And I
she's
actually have
specifically
two.
showing me on her head. So I'm not
Huh.
sure if that's something maybe to think about or because I'm asking for clarity.
Well, Pete's. I'm not sure
I don't
what
know
you're.
if it's in the kitchen, maybe it's near the refrigerator, maybe
I'll have to
it's
look.
yeah. But she just wants
Uh,
to thank you for that. There was something with that, whether either it's a picture of her with a bird, maybe there's a picture of a bird, maybe it's near her food, but
I'm
she's
gonna
not
have to
being
take a
clear
look.
with it. Yeah,
Yeah,
maybe just
well, I will say this: I have stickers of hummingbirds on the windows to keeps birds from flying into the windows because birds were always
okay.
committing suicide because I have
Yes.
all these glass windows in the house.
Yes.
So I literally
Okay.
I have butterflies on that window. I've got a hummingbird on that one, and then on the door there's also a hummingbird. So on every window, just about there's either a butterfly or a
Bird.
hummingbird.
Bird. Okay.
But it
I'm not
looks,
sure she wants to say again. Again, she's not being clear about it, so maybe I can check in later again. But it's definitely a black bird. At this point, she specifically says it's a black bird, like a raven or something. So I don't know
wow.
if it's some kind of a metaphorical thing or something, but she's leaving it there and she's not letting me know anymore. So that
Okay,
means that something will
I'll
come along later, maybe.
I'll
Yeah.
look into it. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
But
Thanks, Pete. Thank you, Petey.
yeah, but she says she loves you and she will always watch out for you. And there's many great things that are coming for you soon. And she
I'm
says thank you
aware.
again. Yeah. And
Uh,
she wants to thank your mom too. She's much love for your mom too.
I'll make sure my mother watches this one. She doesn't look at any of my podcasts, so I'll make sure she sees this
I'm
one.
hopeful.
So thank you so much, Shannon. I'm sorry about
You're
I'm a
welcome.
blubbering mess, but
No, you're welcome. I hope I helped.
just
I don't feel like I did enough. I feel like I can
no,
probably send you
girl,
some more later. I'll do a little bit more in depth. Okay. If you want to
you're
send
so
me a
sweet.
picture of Pepita, that helps too.
Yeah,
So
she's my screensaver, and she's all over the place. So I'll
awesome.
definitely
Okay.
not making it easy for me to let her go because I've got her
I
everywhere.
know, and
But
that's
yeah,
okay. It's on your terms. You let
look at
go on when you're ready. Yeah.
you've got to see this. Okay, so this is a picture of
Oh,
when these are all the kittens I pulled out of her mom. And the
wow.
one crying, that one right there, that's Pepita.
Of course.
The one crying. She was always
Yeah.
the loudest. She would like
Yeah.
bat at all the other
Beautiful.
cats because she didn't want them getting any of the milk. So she
Uh-huh.
was always doing this, even when she didn't even have eyes open yet. She was smacking all the cats.
Uh-huh.
And the ones I
Beautiful.
wanted to adopt was this little calico. That was a boy.
Oh,
Oh, no, that was actually a girl. And then this one over here, which was a little boy. And
wow.
so, but
Beautiful.
she's like, your
Yep.
ex is gonna make you keep me.
And what a
That's
blessing
the
that was, right?
one grateful thing I have for that guy. Is
Yes.
he made me keep her
Yes.
because she's my
Yes.
cat. She will always be
Yes.
my cat. You'll always be my cat, Pepita.
She
You'll always
will.
be mine.
And she
Yeah.
will never leave you. They don't leave us, and they'll be waiting for us when we come, you
Okay.
know?
And ask her, did Jesus actually help her cross over? I asked him.
Ooh, oh, yeah. She says, "Oh, yes." He was
I
waiting for
said,
her.
I said,
Did you
could you
have a
please?
rosary? Was there a rosary with her? I saw a
No,
rosary.
but I do. You can't see, but in my altar back there, I have
Uh-huh.
several rosaries because I used to
Okay.
do like like a mandala with
Yep,
the
yep.
rosary. I would do Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes.
I used
Yes.
to do it with the Lord's Prayer, and then, but yeah,
Yep.
I have a thing for prayer
I'm
beads, so
learning.
she
Yes.
knows. She knows.
Yes.
So
She walks with Jesus. Jesus walks with her
I
and with
love
you.
it. He loves
Yes.
her. He
Yes.
loves
Well,
her.
she's very important because she did things for you that helped you become who you are. And you probably don't
I
even
believe
realize
it.
that,
Yeah, I'm pretty
the
sure.
emotions and the things,
Yeah,
the things they help us with, we don't realize. Yeah.
sure. I get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll
Thank
leave you
you.
with one thing though. It's so funny.
Okay.
I'm curious to know this if if it really bothered her. I would sing, at the drop of a hat, and she would come running to me, especially when I sang it Hallelujah. 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 And she would meow, 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 and run to me. So during
Uh-huh.
COVID, I did this karaoke challenge where somebody would give me a song and I would sing
Yep.
it live. And a lot of times
Awesome.
she would come running and try to run up my leg while I was singing. And I don't know if she was not liking the song or if she was liking the song. So maybe
She
ask her
loves
that
it.
real quick.
I'm asking
Okay.
her. So I see her. I see like the little disco balls that she's showing me. She said it was like a little party. It was like a call almost, like a you were calling her, and she wanted to be in part of the frequency. Like that's what she's showing me. She
So
did
great.
love it.
And she loves that song Hallelujah, doesn't she? That's gotta
Yes.
be her
Yes.
favorite song. I always dedicate
Yes.
it to her when I sing it. So
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yes. No,
I
she just
appreciate that
sends
so
so much
much.
love.
You've really helped
Yeah.
my heart, Shannon. I really
I hope
appreciate you
so.
being
I
on
hope
this
so.
podcast. And you guys, I'm going to have
Yes.
all her information so you can utilize her talents and abilities.
Thank you.
Because she
Thank
got
you.
them, and Pepita knew that. Pepita was like, get her on the show.
Thank you, Pepita. She's a beautiful soul. She's so funny, and very strong. Very strong. But she's so proud, like you belong to her, not she belong
Yeah.
to you, kind of thing,
Yeah.
You belong to her.
I
So
love her so
and she
much.
loves
I love
you.
you, Pepita.
Yeah,
Well,
well,
so
thank
it
you
is
so
called
much.
the Get Happy Podcast. So before I let you go, could you just tell our listeners one thing you do for yourself to get your happy on?
One thing I do for myself, what? I'm sorry.
To get your happy on.
Oh, to get my happy on. Go out with my dogs. Get out
Okay.
into nature. I love it. That's my church.
There you go. I
Yeah.
concur. That's what I do for myself every morning. Sometimes with an umbrella, y'all, because sometimes it's raining, but I got to get in that hot tub.
Yes.
So,
girl. Thank you
well,
so much.
all right. Thank
It's
you.
wonderful. You're welcome.
If you guys enjoyed this conversation, you could put a little comment in. I'm one of those weird people that read them all. Subscribe so you'll know whenever a podcast drops. And if you know someone, especially that's maybe going through something I am, or not, maybe just somebody who wants to talk to their animal that's still alive, because I'm sure you do that too.
Yes.
Excuse me, maybe share this podcast with them. There you go. That's all I got for y'all.
Bye-bye.
So until the next time, y'all. Ciao for now. Thank you, Shannon.
Thank you so much for choosing happiness. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe, share, and give us a like. And if you want more happy, subscribe to the Choosing Happiness membership, where you can play directly with me, Redrani Davy, the Happiness Lady. How does it get any better than that?